In the cold water of winter, a swim bait, especially a finesse swim bait, and I do love my finesse swim baits, might get a bass to follow. But a lot of times, vibration will get them to commit. That tight, sharp pulse of vibration is something that the bass just simply cannot ignore, no matter how cold they are. And it triggers a reaction instantly. The bait I'm going to be talking about today drops fast, gives off some incredible vibration, and stays in the strike zone, which is very small this time of year, for a long, long time. Let me show you what this is. The bait I'm talking about is this little bait right here. This is the Damiki Vault. It's one of my favorite little blade baits. And really, what I'm going to tell you about this little bait can be said about a ton of different little blade baits that you can use. This is one of my favorites, and I'll tell you why as we go on. But in today's video, I'm going to show you how I rig this, rod, reel, and line that I like to use, the locations that I like to target, and the retrieve that I like to use. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the particulars of this little bait first. But before we start talking about what makes this blade bait stand out from the others, I got something for you. So each and every month, I put together $50 worth of baits that I get from Tackle Warehouse. Now, I put together a box so that I can give it away to one of you lucky geeks. What that does is gives you a box of baits that works, for me at least, in that particular month. So since we're in December, this is the December BassGeek box. Now, I've loaded this thing up with a bunch of baits that I think work great in December, and a lot of them are going to work all winter long. So let me show you what I put in the box. And by the way, if you don't care, down in the description, there's a link down there. And that's an affiliate link for us. We don't do memberships because we like to include everybody, every single one of you geeks out there. We don't want to charge you. But if you like what we do and you want to help us out, the best way to do it is when you're going to buy something from Tackle Warehouse, just use that link down in the description. Hit a bookmark, and every time you go there, just click on it or scan that QR code so that you've got it on your phone whenever you go to buy baits. It's not going to cost you a dime, not a penny extra, but it is the best way to help support the channel. All right, now, like I always say, we are going to throw a BassGeek sticker in. We are going to throw in a Tackle Warehouse sticker for you. And so what we've done is we've thrown in some finesse swim baits. These are the mini swammer from Exxon, and this color is 210. And to go with those, I'm going to give you a pack of the Mega Bass screw heads, the Okashira screw heads. Great little bait to be able to team up with this little swim bait. And it's always a great time of year in the wintertime, especially when you get a little bit of wind or, you know, the water dirties up a little bit, to throw a flat-sided balsa crankbait. Now, this is the Chick Magnet. It's not a balsa bait. It is a very well-made Strike King version of a balsa wood circuit board style bait that we love to throw around here. A little more durable because it is plastic, I guess, but really good and very well made little bait right here. This is root beer. Next up, gotta have a finesse jig this time of year, and what is better than the War Eagle heavy finesse jigs in a 2-pack, even half ounce, one of my favorite sizes right here, and a great color. It's got a little bit of blue in it, a little bit of orange in it, a little bit of green pumpkin. Love that green pumpkin orange this time of year, and that touch of blue really sets it off. This is Pond Scum Perch. And to go with these are the Jean LaRue Hammercross, but they are actually now the Yum Hammercross. So, hey, you might want to hang on to this pack right here it's probably going to be vintage in a few years. So, because Jean LaRue is now no more. Good color to match up. It's almost a watermelon red, but they call it Sooner Run. And this, like I said, is what we're going to be talking about today. And I've actually got you a pretty neat one. This is a super finesse Damiki vault. This is the 1/4 ounce version. So you could throw this from the bank like a very small, silent, lipless chatterbait. You can do a lot of different things, including what we're going to do with it today. Now, we're going to be using my own because, of course, I don't want to accidentally lose yours. And I'm going to show you some retrieves. We'll show you all that. But let me tell you what's really great about these baits. So there's a lot of cool features on these baits. One of them, of course, is the hooks. They come with great hooks, so you don't need to change those out. The profile of the bait is very bait fish, but it's also functional, and it's what gives it such a great fall. And the way the weight is distributed, it gives it a nice downward action vibration as it free falls down. Now, good big eyes, you know, we've talked about this in several videos. I'm big on, even with my swim baits, my finesse swim baits, my heads or having eyes or drawing eyes on things. Love the big eyes on these. And it's got 3 holes. Now, in the front hole, you can move this little clip to the front. So if you put it in the front hole, that's going to give you the least amount of vibration. So you're going to get your most subtle vibration. It's going to take it just a second longer to start vibrating when you lift it up, say you're vertical jigging. The second hole is great for when you're throwing it out, fishing it like a lipless crankbait. It's going to give it a little more of the nose down profile. You're going to get a little more vibration out of it. Last but not least, if I'm fishing some really skinny water and I want that nose to really grind, it's in the back hole. That's going to give it the most vibration. So if I'm wanting to give it the most vibration in the shortest amount of area, that's going to be the hole that I use right there. Or if I'm going to make a cast out on a flat, it's going to give it a even more nose down, and you're going to come right across things pretty easily. And believe it or not, because of the wide head that has and the wide nose, these things are pretty weedless when you're fishing it that way fast. That's all we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about cold water. But first, let me show you how to rig this. Oh yeah, geeks. It is the winter time, and you know that's one of the things you're getting ready to upgrade is maybe your crafts. Well, if you're getting those Echo Maps by Garmin, you better get those Echo Map locks from Boat Effects. But I don't even want to talk to you about that. I want to talk to you about your boat steps. I know you've heard me tell you this story several times, but I know of 2 guys who on this particular lake lost their lives. One of them at the boat ramp. One of them fell across the tongue of his trailer in the wintertime and broke his ribs and could have easily drowned. We're talking about at the boat ramp, loading and unloading. Especially if you're like me and you're by yourself. Especially, look, I'm going to be 52 in April. I've got friends who are much older than me, and we want to be able to fish for as long as we can. Nothing substitutes my boat steps. Every time, and I heard, hey, if it was you, make sure you say it again, please, in the comment section below. One of you geeks out there, every time he left a comment, I don't remember what video, but every time he loads and unloads, he thinks about how much he loves his boat steps. And let me tell you, likewise. I say it every time. I am a big dude. I weigh about 350. And I'll just tell you, it means the world. Get the extended handle. You're not going to reach. It's why I don't like. It's why, look, this boat came with boat steps, or would have, but I told them to keep them. Not because I work with Boat Effects, but because they're better steps. I'm not reaching or lunging. They've got better options for their handles to steady you with, the Boomer step. They're just safer, geeks. They're just safer as we get older. Go check them out. Got one of the best discount codes, and make sure you check out that link in the description. It does help. All right, we're just going to keep it in the center hole for now. We're just going to tie this in a pitsine knot, wrap it about 5 times, come up through that top loop, pull it down, cinch it down, and there you have it. We'll take our canine braid scissors, clip that off, and we are ready to go. So the 1/4 ounce I would definitely downsize probably to a medium heavy or even a medium fast action, but we're going to be throwing the 3/8 ounce today. And for us, because we're going to be fishing a little bit deeper, we're going to be fishing it a little bit heavier rod, reel, and line setup than you guys would be fishing on your 1/4 ounce. Today what we've got is we've got my jig and worm rod. This is a Douglas ERA or ERA rod. This is a $100 rod retail. We've got a 10% off discount right here. You really need to go try this out, man. I love this rod. We have put these rods to work catching some good bass with a jig on a worm this year, but it's also great for the vault, the blade bait. Now this is a 7'6" heavy extra fast action, but don't let that fool you. It's actually got a pretty nice tip to it, so we can cast this quite a ways. Now we've got that teamed up with a Fitzgerald VLD10, and since we're not cranking this back, we're going to kind of be jigging it back. We'll talk about that later in retrieve. We've got a 7-2-1, which is really, even if we retrieve it back, a pretty good speed for that too. But since it's cold water, going to be moving it a little more slow. When it comes to line, absolutely going to have my K9 100% fluorocarbon Pro 100. Go check it out. I've got that in a little lighter 12-pound test, and we've got a 10% off discount for that also. Make sure you go check them out. All right, let's talk about location. Location is anywhere this time of year. This thing is great. Now, I'm not going to tell you to throw it around a bunch of grass or a bunch of wood, right? You're going to lose it. It's not built for that. But the locations that I'm looking for, places that I'm really looking for, are going to be transitions of rock, 45-degree banks, channel swings, bluff walls, long points that maybe have just a little steeper side on them. Those types of areas. I'm also going to throw it maybe around some docks and marinas. Got to be careful because a lot of people like to plant brush piles out in places like that. So that can be a little tricky. But I'm really going to look for that slab rock to pea gravel, or that chunk rock, you know, that might have a little mud mixed in. I'm also going to make sure that I've got a little bit of shad in the area. And the reason why is because if I take this and throw it over to the bank and it falls down and it just looks like a dying shad, normally there needs to be some shad in the area so that those bass are kind of triggered by that dying bait fish sort of vibration fall action. Now, like I always say, as far as boat positioning goes, you really want to make sure, you know, forward-facing sonar sort of changes the way I have my boat position, but if you don't have forward-facing sonar, some of the things that you're going to want to do is I always start pretty much everything with a 45-degree casting angle. And what I'll do with that is I'll work it down until I understand where the bass are. Like the bass today have been in about that 15 to 20 mark. We caught a couple in like 25, but really that 15 to 20 mark today is where they've been. Now, we were on this lake just a few days ago and they were in that 20-25 mark. And so what you want to do is make sure that you get out there, and I always start my cast, like I don't throw right up to the bank. That's a waste unless you've got, you know, a foot of visibility. for me, I'm gonna look at how deep it is. Generally, I'm gonna start 2 to 3 foot below that. So if we're talking about on this lake right now, we've got 5 to about 8 feet, and it's even more down the lake. Generally, I'm gonna throw it. I'm gonna get myself to where I'm gonna make that cast into about 5 feet or 8 foot, right at the edge of that visibility line, and I'm gonna work it all the way down to 20, 30 feet. Another tip I can give you for visibility in water, always fish about 15 feet deeper to start with. So if you can see 5 feet, you wanna fish down to about 20, maybe even 25 feet. That's a great place to start. And then once you start getting bites, you're gonna understand, you know, how deep you are. Put yourself in line and stay in that contour. Don't bother throwing it up there in 8 foot if they're in 15 feet all day. So you're gonna be looking for those rock areas. Now, retrieve, what we're gonna do with retrieve is we're literally gonna throw it out there. We're gonna let it sink to the bottom, and we're just gonna lift our rod tip. You're gonna feel it vibrate 3 to 8 times, and you're gonna drop your rod tip. You're gonna lift, vibrate 3 to 8 times. It's hard to count, you just have to feel it. But you don't want to get it far off the bottom. It's just to the bottom. To the bottom. You'll feel that. You're not getting it far off the bottom. You're just moving it like that down the bank. Good thing about these is you can fish them a little bit faster. You don't have to really let it sit there for long. Activate. This is a little tip that I'm going to give you that I kind of hate that I'm saying. I've got a saying that if you can activate 2 senses on a bass, 2, they can't stand it. They don't last. 2 senses on a cast, you're going to get a bite. The bass can't stand it. Sight and vibration a lot of times will get you bit. It has to be the right combination, but if you can find that right combination, it's going to beat sight or vibration or scent, or you get 2 and you're going to get a reaction bite. And I think it takes at least 2, sight and vibration, to get that bite. Now, as far as hook set goes, remember, these are treble hooks. They are sharp. Lean into it, set the hook, get the rod tip down, and make sure you're playing these fish out. Again, small treble hooks. And again, I'm using a little heavier rod for this because a lot of times I'm going to go to that 1/2 ounce, that 3/4 ounce, a little bit bigger bait. If you're using that 1/4 ounce, I'd highly recommend going probably all the way down to a medium fast action rod. So something like you'd throw a jerk bait on. But you don't want it too soft. You want to make sure that, hence why I go with that fast to even an extra fast. You want to make sure that when you lift, it's not absorbing and it's getting that vibration started as quickly as possible. Hey, use the net, get them in. If you're going to have to get them on your thumb, be super careful with it, all right? Now, if you want to win this box, make sure you leave in the comment section #vault down in the comments below. We'll do a drawing 1 week from the day this video comes out. So the next video, literally 1 week, whether it be a Tuesday, it'll be a Tuesday, or a Thursday, a Sunday, yada, 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 right? So make sure you're watching. Got to be watching to win, okay? Got to know that you won by watching the video to claim your prize. So watch to win. All right, otherwise, if you want to check out the video we were talking about earlier, make sure you hit this video right here. Otherwise, questions and comments in the comment section below. Make sure #vault to win. Like it if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. Make sure you ring that bell. Be part of the 100% Watch Squad. We need your help. 2026 is going to be a big year, and you geeks rock.